All right, we are live on YouTube. I just need this video to connect so I can get the link, so I can take that link from YouTube and put it in our community so that it is convenient for our members to hop on to the live YouTube broadcast in the live chat. And of course, you didn't make it easy this morning, YouTube. Our community, you should be in it, especially if you are an entrepreneur or a solopreneur who is struggling to get to their first 6 figures in business, because that's what our community is all about. You need to join us, shaycannon.info/group. We have 3 pillars of value. Throw this link there, boom. And that is that we actually commune. We come together, we collaborate, we make each other's businesses better, and we make money together. And we have transformational, I was gonna say confirmational, transformational conversations for your business growth. We do all of that and it's free. So why aren't you in it? shaycannon.info/group. All right, I can see everything. Let's get started. Good morning. Welcome to Unlock Your First 6 Figures morning show. I am your host, Shay Cannon. It all starts with the blog, and this week's blog is at shaycannon.com/global. Are y'all ready to go global? Because what we're talking about is taking your small business global. I've been having some thoughts over the weekend. Y'all know every time I have some thoughts, I'm a vessel. And when I think it's going to work for me, I also think it's going to work for you. Okay. So we're going to talk about taking your business global this week. Because sometimes marketing where we are feels like we're a small fish in a big ocean. I don't know if you guys know about the book or have read the book what was it? Is it Blue Ocean? Yeah, is it the Big Blue Ocean or Blue Ocean Strategy, right? And it's talking about how you can become, basically, how can you become the shit where you are, right? How can you become the only choice? Well, one way to not be a small fish in a big ocean is to go somewhere where you can be a big fish in a small pond, and you can just already by default kind of be the one that everybody goes to. Well, we know that the United States has a lot of things going on, but we are still a superpower out here in these global streets. And so we can go global and already latch on to that global power authority in other places. So I need y'all to start thinking about where everybody in everywhere probably needs what you have, right? There's always somebody somewhere that needs what you have. So in every country, but I want you to start thinking about in which countries could you be very competitive, okay? And be seen the authority, especially because we come with Western thoughts, right? What we know is the United States for all of these years have been the country of business. That's why English is the language of business, right? Now, these days, there are other countries that we owe money to and all kind of stuff going on. There are other superpowers that are, some are under the radar and some are, maybe be trying to threaten us with missiles and shit. But hey, United States is still seen as a global superpower, and we can use that to our advantage, okay? So let's start talking about that, right? The first thing I want you to understand is, I primarily service-based businesses. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how you can convert your services to compete on a global level, all right? So convert your services to be used by those living in other countries. Pick a country or two, okay? Adapting the service offering to compete in a global market requires thoughtful approach that goes beyond simple translation. We have to understand when you are wanting to compete in other countries, it's more than just translating your stuff to their language, okay? So it involves rethinking and reshaping the service to align with the diverse cultural and economic landscapes of the regions that you have picked, all right? This process ensures that the service is not only accessible, but relevant and compelling to your international clients. By making these adjustments, your business can enhance your global competitiveness, offering services that meet the unique needs and expectations of the clients across various markets, okay? So that was the blog. Let me tell you how this week on the morning show, this is going to be one of those weeks where you're going to have to bookmark and make sure you get the notes, okay? If you want the show notes in your inbox, go to shaycannon.com/show, because this is one of those weeks. All right. I gave a little bit in the blog, but I'm giving a lot on the morning show. You know, we give more. Okay. So when we get into the more, I want to start thinking about how you can actually kind of do these things. What are some of the things you need to be thinking about? Okay, so I want you ladies to get ready, and everybody over on YouTube, as you're listening, good morning. You guys get ready too, okay? Because the first thing I want you to start thinking about is what country could you translate what you do into easily and compete and be the automatic authority, okay? And I'll go ahead and tell you, I have been living in Spanish-speaking countries for the past 5 years. So of course, my thought is Spanish translation, okay? Mostly Mexico, all right? But you think of where is it that you could do what you do as an authority to show other people what you do, and they buy into it because of the authority we have as a global superpower, okay? Start thinking. Now, the first thing you're going to do if we're going to convert our services is you need to identify the location. We've already talked about that, right? So do a little research if you need to. Today, I just want you to guess, but after today, I want you to do some research, right? And look at the locations in the world that are relevant to your target market and your industry, right? Who would need the most help? And maybe you could swoop in, and even though they have people there to help you, you can kind of override their authority with yours. Start thinking about it like that. Consider starting with 1 or 2 locations to assign your business goal. I'm going to say 1, pick 1, okay? Next, we're going to incorporate our local expertise, okay? What we're going to do is, because this stuff can get if you don't know the culture, you might want to hire somebody to help you with the culture, right? So integrate with local knowledge and expertise in your service offering, right? You can always pay somebody for a consult to see how they do things, go visit, that type of thing. But this could involve collaborating with local professionals, consulting with them, and getting insights into the local market to enhance the relevance of your service, right? You don't want to just assume that what you do is going to smoothly translate, right? Certain cultures have certain things that might make it a little harder. For example, I know a lot of people want to own their own VA agency, and they want to use VAs from the Philippines, right? So that's a way of becoming a global superpower. People would rather work for you than to work for somebody else in the Philippines, because they're going to assume you have more access to clients with US dollars, right? However, do you understand culturally, you have to Uber get these people ready to work for you, right? So if you don't have SOPs in place or whatever, you're going to frustrate these people. Okay, as a culture, they mostly, and this is stereotypical culture, right? They like to please. And if you don't give them what they need to know that they're doing it right, a problem occurs. Okay, so we kind of want to know these little nuances. All right. Next, we will hire translators. Okay. Work with professional translators who understand your industry, or at least if you get the consultant, then you can get the understand industry part done, to ensure accurate and cultural appropriate market analysis, strategies, and results. And when we start talking about getting your business ready, of course, they're going to translate all your stuff. Okay. Next, we're going to adapt our service delivery. All right. If your service includes verbal communication, such as coaching and consulting, we're going to consider offering sessions in both languages, English and the language of where you're trying to go, okay? You may need to brush up on your language skills or hire a bilingual staff person, team member, okay? 5, we want to develop a modular service package, okay? And that's basically, we're going to create some flexible stuff, right? Think of like your course. We definitely want to pull those modules out and offer those instead of trying to offer the whole thing, okay? Because we're kind of baby stepping into the global market. So we're going to start with small pieces that's easier to manage, all right? This will allow you to offer core services and be consistent and adapting to the elements. Let me tell you one thing that you can do as a service provider is you always can do an analysis and a blueprint. And that won't even require you to necessarily be the one that is speaking the other language, right? So if you have an analysis, right, which is an assessment right? The team member that you hired that speaks the local language can go through the assessment for you, give it to you in a translated form. And then from the translated form, you create their roadmap, right? From your expertise. Then you have your staff member to translate the roadmap back into their language, and boom, you have used the team member for the language, but it still has tapped into your expertise. So what kind of ways can you be flexible with what you offer, right? So that's the same way you can do the service. You can hire the person to actually do the service, even though you are quality assuring, right? It might come from your mind, but they are actually doing the translation part. It's no different than having an account manager. Okay, so think about it like that. You may do the expertise, and then the account manager is who talks back and forth to the client as a liaison. It just so happens that this person is bilingual, right? All right. I would love to know who is ready to go global? Who thinks that this is a great opportunity? And I want to know what country or language are you thinking about translating into to go global? Over here on the YouTube side, good morning, Glow. You should be receiving the show in your inbox now, Glow. Good morning, Chantalie, and good morning, Dr. Toya. I want to know from you guys the same thing. Are you wanting to go global? If so, what country or language? Yeah, I would love to know from y'all. So let's start with Dr. LaFera. Dr. LaFera, are you ready to go global, or are you wanting to go global? I shouldn't say ready, because I don't know if we're ready, but we want to, right? We want to get started. And if so, what region or language do you want to translate into? Dr. LaFera.
I hadn't thought about like a region or area. I mean, I guess of course I would like to go global. I guess since I want to help a lot of people that I help, I attract a lot of African American people. I guess it would have to be something like maybe the West Indies, or possibly like a country in Africa that had resources.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I can see that. Yeah, so for you, you would definitely have to go with the more metropolitan type areas of whatever region, so that you are hitting the threshold of the people who have the resources to think of such things. We cannot be, so a lot of you have to think about what your service is, because you can't necessarily, if you want to be paid competitively, go somewhere where they'll struggle, right? So you got to think about that way. So thank you for that, Dr. LaFera. Dr. Tachi, you got a number of services, but are you interested in going global? And if so, what region?
Yes,
You yourself are global anyway.
I am.
Yes, you are.
So, but this is the interesting thing. Where I'm from is not necessarily where I'm thinking about
Oh, no, no, no.
global.
No, we're not. Look, we're not trying to send you home, ma'am. We're not. That's not what we're doing. I do want you to start thinking of other places, but I did want people to know that you are descended from somewhere else who is already doing business in the United States. So you already know about translating cultures and all that kind of stuff. So you actually kind of have a leg up on us. But no, we don't. It doesn't have to be where you're from.
Because I can't. Not now with them. But yeah, so I'm actually looking at Asia. I'm looking at Malaysia, Thailand, in terms of that. And so I also am looking at East Africa. So in terms of language skills, for East Africa, that's Kiswahili. I don't speak Swahili, so that's something I would want to learn. And the thing is too, also with Eastern Africa, English is a lingua franca, so most people are speaking English anyway, and so that's not a big deal. With with Malaysia and Thailand, it's the same thing. Although Malaysia is a little more English forward than Thailand is, it's not a big deal. So definitely Malay and Thai, because Malay is spoken in several regions there, Malaysia, Indonesia, also Thailand. So that kind of covers a lot of that. And I was thinking in terms of all of the businesses there. And part of the thing is because my sister lives in Malaysia. So I already have like an in there. They've been telling me the lay of the land in terms of the way things work. So like for the t-shirts already, they're like, we don't know why your t-shirts are not here already, because that's something that they love already in that culture. So it's just, and it's cheaper to manufacture there. So it's just a question of doing it there. And then with Indie Soup, I actually have plans to do a whole other kind of Asian arm. So it's just then understanding for some with Malaysia and Indonesia, for example, those are Muslim countries. So you have to be very aware of the type of content that is there. So it's, I have been looking definitely, and those are my plans. I rest.
I love that. I love that. And that should have gave everybody else some cool ideas and some cool insight. And it's funny that you pick Asia. I'll get back to that later. But Dewana, are you thinking about going global? And if so, what area or language?
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, so it would be great to be able to package my food and send it all over the world. So that's a long-term goal that I would love to do. I'm already trying to figure out how to actually package it. Where, I don't know. But yeah, that would be great. And that's all I got for that, because I have no idea when it comes down to where I want to be, but everywhere. But yeah, let's get the whole packaging thing down and see where it goes from there.
Well, I'll tell you, and it's not always, you always go to the packaging and the cooking of the food. Sometimes it's the recipes. Sometimes it's coaching, right?
Right.
So you have to start thinking about the things that will translate across, not you trying to send food across every time. For example, in Argentina is known for meat, right? Brazil is the meat capital of the world, but Argentina is the beef capital of the world. They have the best steaks I've ever had in my life, and I'm a steak girl. But what I noticed was it's way more meat there than there is healthy options. And when living there, I started to feel a difference in my body, and I started to realize it was because my blood pressure was rising because I was eating so much meat, right? And so when I started to look for vegetarian, vegan options, because there you getting meat and the starch. It's gonna be meat and potatoes. You know what I'm saying? It's basically what you're getting. They have some vegan and vegetarian restaurants, but that's not always the way to go. People probably want to learn more about how they can prepare it at home, how they can integrate it into their cooking, how they can integrate it more into their lifestyle without hinging on or depending on the restaurants and that type of stuff. Plus the restaurants open and close a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I would look for areas where people don't have the resources to eat vegetarian, plant-based, vegan type of thing, Dewana. So start thinking bigger, more global. Gotcha. Okay. Debbie, what do you think? Do you think you want to go global? Are you interested? And if so, do you have an area or language in mind?
I would just like to get started here, please. Hey, global.
Yes, global, man.
That's okay. That's for the very far future. But what I would say, what jumped into my mind, I would say Nigeria, just because I worked with a Nigerian TV station here in the States already.
Okay.
So.
Love it.
See, yeah, I know.
You already got to end somewhere. Look at
yes,
you.
that's
further in the future. That's because you rested on your own laurels as being the only one doing everything in your business. Look at Dr. Tachi with the eyes. Dr. Tachi is Nigerian. She's looking with the eyes like, what TV station?
I was going to say, I don't know if it's such a good move. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I had an experience working with the Rise TV. So yes, Nigeria.
Dr. Tachi, cut it out. All right. Cheryl, are you interested in going global? And if so, what regions or language?
Hello, everybody. Yes, I started going global with my personal books, the books that I write. When I do the bestseller drives, I do it in not only America, but in mainstream Euro countries, France, Germany, England, the Benelux, anything, Latino. Um, and that's pretty much where I go. The Benelux is pretty much Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. So it really works. It really works. And believe it or not, Canada, which is it's North America, but it is different. It is way different. So that's where I am.
Love it. Thank you. I hope that gave y'all more insight. See, getting more insight. All right, Shawana, Kennedy Media, want to go global? Are you interested? And if so, what regions or language are you thinking?
Yes, yes, yes.
And
The
Shawana,
services I
you have
provide go
experience.
all over the world.
Look, Shawana, you have experience with working with a client that has done some global stuff, right?
Yeah, I do also, and it's funny that Cheryl said Canada because that was one of the ones that came up on my list. Also, I was even thinking like Dubai. I was thinking Dubai because the services, and I think any place that like have corporate, when you have corporate people that also are entrepreneurial, these different things, and of course what they could break off into their own places. That's why what I do really could go all over the globe. Because I don't know that I would want to go over to, and matter of fact, what would be a longer goal would be like someplace like Singapore, like over there. But yeah, I'm here for it. And Dubai, they moving and shaking, and it's a lot of us over there doing business. So that's why that was like a one that came to top of mind to me.
I love that. Somebody from our community, Shaky, who used to be on here, Auntie Shaky, who used to be
Yes,
on here
yes,
all the
yes,
time,
yes.
she bought a condo over there and she has now transitioned to living over there. So yes, Dubai,
Yeah.
baby. Kimberly said that right now she wants to do all of North America, Canada, and Mexico with outlying areas. Especially since her brand is also Asian. She's thinking about doing oh, it's caused you issues on TikTok. That is hilarious. Dr. Tachi has added in that she wants to add in Mandarin Chinese because Southeast Asia, particularly Malaysia, has a large Chinese population. Dewana, Dr. LaFera has confirmed that that was her for wanting to be a vegetarian. She couldn't find the resources. So yeah, let's start thinking about that. Before we go to Teray, let's check over here on YouTube. And Dr. Toya said for her books, she is intending to translate into Spanish and Portuguese. Other aspects of her business, she's not sure. And then she said her books currently sell well in Canada and Spain, but these are just in English versions of the book. Love it. That's not a just, let's take that word just out. That's just like calling your business little. How many of us don't have books over there in Canada and Spain, whether they're in English or any other language? So congratulations, Dr. Toya. Oh, Dr. LaFera says she could target those vegetarians. Okay, cool beans. All right, Teray, are you interested in going global? If so, what region and what language? I was going to say what English, Lord. What language?
I'm not interested in going global.
Mm-hmm.
However, after listening to everybody talk, it expanded my mind.
Yes.
So I thought about a couple things. Number one, I was thinking that at first I was immediately like, no, I can't go global, because in order to help women date all over the world, I would have to think about the culture of the men and dating and all that. And I don't care. I'm not going through all that, whatever. Then I thought, well, no, wait a minute. My target market is Black women, and there are Black women expats all over the place. Yes. So I did a little Google search, and a high percentage of expats are in Panama. So if Black women are moving to Panama and they're single, I can help them date in Panama. Then I thought about my son, my older son that I hardly ever talk about. He has been to China twice. He speaks fluent Mandarin. He not only knows the language, but he knows the culture.
Mm-hmm.
But also, let me tell you a little story. Whenever Amir, my older son, was 10, our church was having a program in which we had children from South Africa come to the church, and we chose to sponsor a kid that summer from South Africa. He was 11. His name was Nobi. And Nobi was in our home, and he was my son for about 12 weeks that summer from Pretoria. Long story short, Nobi is my son. When I tell you Nobi is my son and he keeps in touch with me, still. Nobi just had a birthday over the weekend, and Nobi is 29. And he calls me every couple of months and he's like, "Hey, mama, how are you?" And Nobi lives in Pretoria. He lives in South Africa, and he stays in touch with me and his parents and everything. And I still know his life. He keeps in touch with me. He sends me pictures still. So he would be my connect to South Africa.
Thank you for bringing it home, because I was like, what we doing? What we doing?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so it's not like I don't have international reach, because I
Yes.
could, you know what I mean? So because I'm like, I don't know anything about that, but I have contacts, connects. So yes.
And I feel like you have a limited view, right?
Mhm.
Because how many people in other countries want to date an American man?
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Or how many women in other countries want to date, you know what I'm saying, American man, or how many women in other countries are like, just tell me the principles. I know my culture, just tell me the principles, right?
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be as complicated or one-sided at all. Think about it, open the viewpoint up. Because one of the things that gives us the upper hand is people always want to connect with people in the United States. You see what I'm saying? So you can be the liaison to help them do whatever it is that you're expert in with a Western culture. This is how we're going to go to Heather in a second, but this is how I've gotten international clients, because they want to know how to do business with us. Right? They don't want to make money, be restricted to just money in their culture. They want to know how to bring in tourist dollars or US dollars, or, you know what I'm saying? And so they want to know what would, one of my favorite, we just talked about Muy Salsa this morning, right? When I first got here, I loved them, and they had this special that was not on a sign outside. I said, that we as tourists walk the strip and they don't know about your special. I guess you're waiting on them to come in to find out. You need a sign out there to let them know it's 2-for-1 margaritas. And that's when they had the big, you know what I'm saying? I said, you need to draw a picture of the big glass, because most of the people that have 2-for-1 margaritas down the strip have the small, like Tom Collins glasses. So you need to put that out there. And baby, banging. Okay. The first week they put the sign out there, banging. That's why every time I go in now, ain't that right here? I get free tequila, all kind of stuff. Right? So most of the time, our authority lies in, we know our own culture, right? It's just when it comes to translating to their culture, it's how we're dealing with them in particular, not necessarily helping them to do things their cultural way in their culture. They want to know how to do it our way. That's what gives us the authority. So start thinking like that. All right. Heather, want to go global, Heather? And if so, what region or language are you thinking?
So I hadn't really considered it, but then while everybody else was talking, I did a quick search of where outside of the United States, where are more female entrepreneurs. And it says New Zealand is like number 2.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't have to learn a new language, and I'd really like to visit there. So, but New Zealand and Ireland, Canada also big. So that would cut out like a language barrier issue for me. But then Shawana mentioned Dubai, and I was like, oh, there are a lot of women. Yeah. So I would be looking at those 4.
I love it. I love this.
Yeah.
For me, what got me to thinking this weekend was sometimes it's just so hard to spread and expand where you are. And so where else could you go where you would have a leg up, right? All of us would love to have a leg up when we're doing this hard work. Like, what is something that can give us some kind of edge? And so that's where I came into the subject matter of this week, because it's not as hard as we would think. And for some of us, we haven't thought about it at all. And it's a great opportunity. And so that's exactly why we're talking about that this week. Now, I would love to bring something back that Chantilly reminded me of, and that is, it's Monday. What is at least one thing that you need to do to work on your business and not just in your business? At least one thing. I'm gonna start with Heather. Give me one thing, Heather.
I have to get back on the blogging track because I did that whole 12-part series about storytelling, and then I was tired and I didn't want to do it anymore. So now I have to get back. I have to start putting out more content more consistently like that.
Love it. Teray, at least one thing.
I'm planning this upcoming workshop.
Okay,
That's one
love
thing.
it.
Oh,
Kimberly,
but Teray, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just to go back to the whole global thing. One of the things I thought of for you, it was specifically more with the autism part of it, was Mexico. Because a mutual friend of ours has a child on the spectrum, and Mexican schools are not like super receptive to kids with autism, and that might be like an avenue if that's where you wanted to go. So I thought about that.
love it, love it. Kimberly says she's gonna work on her content. She's literally behind on that right now. Shawana, what is at least one thing you're gonna do this week to work on your business and not just in your business?
Heather hit the nail on the head. That is on the to-do list today. Kennedy Media blog, the Kennedy Media blog. Also, I don't know if somebody recently saw, they were saying something about where you can add to your websites, something that Google is doing. So I'll find it in inbox, everybody. Because it is something going on where now Google is going to be allowing where you can get more traffic to your site. So if you do a blog, get back on your blog. Of course, we know Shay is the A student in that area. Also, I have to say about putting our businesses in other places, sometimes if we have been received here, but then you may feel that the momentum is slowing down, what I have found in other things that I have done too, even going from Ohio to coming to Georgia, sometimes people that's closest to us don't understand or see our worth either, where we are the best thing since sliced bread in someplace else. So that is another reason to consider your brilliance in another place. So I had to say that.
Love that. Thank you for that, Shawana. Cheryl, what is at least one thing you're gonna do this week to work on your business and not just in your business?
I've got two things. One is changing my tax structure. And the other is I've been working on blog posts. And so now I'm creating a section on the website, you know, how you have to tag them and all that good stuff so I can start putting them up. But I've got, I think, 13 or 14 of them. So I'm pretty much good if I just start off with one blog post a week, you know, until I get some more done. I'm good for. So just doing things in advance.
I love that. And Cheryl, ChatGPT can help you with tags and hashtags and stuff. So you don't have to put your full body of work in there. You could just tell them what it's about and give you relevant tags for SEO enrichment, and it'll help you with that easily. All right, let's go to Debbie. Debbie, what is at least one thing you need to do this week to work on your business and not just in your business?
Prospecting and my email sequences.
Yes.
My mailing list.
Come on, get to the money. I love it. Dewana, what is at least one thing you're doing this week to work on your business and not just in your business? Dewana might not even be, she might be stuck in down with dog. Let's go to Dr. Tachi.
Yes. So this is the last week that I have with this crop of interns. So I'm having them work on creating documents of what they did, how they did, which goes into the SOPs.
Oh yes, I love it. I love it. That was genius for you to make time just for that. Because let me tell you, people don't have time to do their job and record how to do the job at the same time. So that was genius, Dr. Tachi. Dr. LaFaro, what is at least one thing you're working on this week to work on your business and not just in your business? I swear I be wanting to play the music on Dr. LaFaro, but she swear I be.
Well, my hands are wet and I had to like tap the thing to get it to like recognize I was tapping it. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I am working on my content because like I have a talk on AI and holistic health Saturday. So I need to push that content out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what kind of thoughts do you have for me? As far as like what you were talking about this morning?
As far as going global?
Yeah. Like my targeting. Like what should I be targeting? Like based off of like money and all that stuff for people, like because if I'm trying to give people health knowledge, like I'm not one of those wacky people that's like eat these 10 mushrooms and I don't do that.
Yeah. So I gave you my thoughts, and that was go for bigger metropolitan areas, so that they'd have like the upper echelon hospitals. And also you could do the same kind of partnerships with those types of hospitals. So that was what I had for you. So just first you got to pick a language or an area.
Okay.
And then in that area, so I don't want to say country, right?
Yeah.
Because it's bigger than, sometimes it's city, sometimes it's country, sometimes it's language. So that's why I'm saying it the way that I'm saying it. But yeah, so I would think bigger cities that have the bigger, better hospitals supposedly, so that you can do the same types of partnerships there that you intend to do in the United States.
Yeah, good idea. Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome. Cool. Dr. Latoya is over here on YouTube, and she said, I've had international clients as one-on-one, but I can't think how I would scale the international aspect. The same way you scaling your coaching business, ma'am. If you go one-on-one, you can go group. If you go group, you know what I'm saying? You can go from group, it being you, to group and having other coaches, or a group that is self-paced. All of that can scale. And we're going to actually talk about more of that tomorrow. Then she said her one thing that she's doing this week to work on her business, and not just in her business, is launching her Mindset Mastery Reads and Reels Club. Ooh, I wish she was in studio so you could tell us what that is, because that sounds interesting. The one thing, bringing in, look, tying this in a bow for y'all, the one thing I am working on this week has to do with what Dr. Tachi said, and that is I am working on setting up the my packages where you can come here and do an intensive with me in Mexico, because 2025 I'm most likely moving to Thailand.
Yay!
Shanghai.
Oh, sorry. Okay. But that's on my,
Yes.
I'm going next year. Yay.
Yes. So I'm looking at Chiang Mai, and I think it's called Pattaya. Both are quite like Playa. I will, of course, be dropping into Bangkok. I don't know about Phuket, because, and y'all know I pronounce it, fuck it. But, I don't know if I want to go that far south. But yeah, that was, Teresa, I told you, Heather.
Hey,
Yeah.
may I?
Yes, please.
So I'm actually getting ready to buy something in Bangkok, and I will be living part-time in Malaysia. We'll be right next door.
I know. Look, I can come visit you on my visa run. How about that?
There you go.
So I'm working on my Mexican residency right now. So it's not that I will not return to Mexico, but I will be over there. When I go over there, I'll probably be there about a year or two before coming back. My Mexican residency will be good for 4 years, so I can still come back, quote unquote, home with no problem. Yeah, so that is something that is going down. So December will end the time that people can come here and stay with me and do their intensives and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on this week, which is getting that sales page up so people can start to book. I already got the calendar portion of it ready. But yeah, so that's what's going down around here. Let's go to our show announcements. If you want to get the morning show in your inbox, you can get a morning reminder to hop on the YouTube Live, and you will get an afternoon link to the show notes and link to the replay. Go to shaycannon.com/show. Tomorrow night, join me on Dr. Tachi's Indie Soup Media YouTube channel. I'm going to be live in the comments, interacting and all of that for my show, Design Your CEO Life. If you want to look at replays, go to shaycannon.com/design. This week, the the workshop for this week is the, what is it? It is the Visibility Marketing with Thought Leadership Workshop. It's on Wednesday, okay? But don't forget that you can, if you feel like you've gotten all of the workshops, right? And you just want to get this workshop, then go to shaycannon.com/visible, okay? But if you know you want to do this workshop and other workshops, then you need to take advantage of the anniversary sale at shaycannon.com/workit, because as a bonus, I'm including this live workshop along with the ones you can get that are on demand for 2 for $97 or 3 for $147. Teray, don't forget to email me the other workshop that you want access to. So that is what's going on with that. Let me see, did I have anything else? I think that's everything. So tomorrow we're going to go into digital products that you can do, take global, because they're easier, right? Converting your service, I went with that one first because it's a little harder to start trying to adapt your service to other countries and cultures, but digital products are easy. Just like, and some products are easier, just like Cheryl and Dr. Toya and others have said, they already have books that are being translated into different things or being sold in different regions. So this is an opportunity for everybody. So whereas you might have got stuck thinking about your service, tomorrow, come on, you're gonna have all kinds of thoughts. So get ready, get ready. shaycannon.com/global is the blog if you want to jump ahead. Cheryl, what did you want to add?
For those of us who are dealing with countries that speak English, it's a different kind of English, because you, for instance, in England, if you talk about a bonnet, they think you're talking about the hood of a car. There is a book called, for instance, in England, called British A to Z, and it gives you like definitions of what the American word is or the British word is and what it actually translates to in American, because it can be hilarious, not knowing, their version of it. But that's all I want to say.
Right, like the difference between jelly and jam.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. Dr. Tachi says she grew up speaking British English. Woo.
Yes, we said peanut butter and jam.
Okay. Interesting. Look, being from the South, y'all, I be messing them. Let me tell you, messing them up. So even being here in Mexico, and you have, the Mexicans that clearly speak English, sometimes they're like, first of all, you talk fast, and second of all, what did you say? Because that's Southern vernacular. So there's dialect everywhere. And dialect is not just an accent, it's the way you use words, right? So that's going to be a thing everywhere. Even like Heather saying she wants to be in New Zealand. There's a way that people use the English language depending on where they are. So that was a great point, Cheryl. Thank you for that. All right. Anybody have any questions or want to say anything else before we get out of here this morning? We are going global with our services. Anybody have any last thoughts?
I just want to make sure everybody tune in tonight at 7 and 7:30, because at 7:30 I am with our lovely partner here, Deborah Mitchell, tonight on Indie Soup Media Network, where I'm excited about that interview.
All right, cool beans.
I just wanted to say this was a really good session to start thinking globally. Very nice.
Thank you very much. Y'all know I'm a vessel. Comes to me and through me. All right, to me and through me. All right, guys, have a great day. The studio is